Hello, and welcome to the Those Dweebs podcast, where we have a little bit of everything for everyone. Let's roll the d20 of fate and see what we are talking about today.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the podcast for a brand new episode. We are currently 4 days from Christmas for those who celebrate, and I wanted to keep up the train of doing different Christmas folklores or like mythologies and legends and whatnot because they are so fascinating. And while I could do all of them this year, I want to leave some for next year as well. And so this one, and I'm going to have one coming out on the 23rd as well. So it's going to be a full week of podcast, and I feel like that's needed for this time of year because, I don't know, hearing spooky stories or hearing, fun legends like these, especially like in wintertime, it just sets the mood just perfectly well. So, without further ado, let's get into it. And today, we will be talking about the Yule Cat, otherwise known as Yule Cat, which I'm going to say ahead of time, I am so sorry if I mispronounce anything. I'm going to try my best. But, as always, let's get into this. The Yule Cat, often translated as the Yule Cat, is a central figure in Icelandic folklore, particularly tied to the Christmas season. Unlike the warm, jovial figures like Santa Claus, who delivers gifts to well-behaved children, the Yule Cat is an ominous and terrifying creature that serves as a reminder of the harsh consequences of laziness and lack of generosity. Known for its ferocious appetite, it is said to feast on those who do not follow social expectations during the Christmas period, particularly focusing on those who fail to receive new clothes for Christmas. In many ways, the Yule Cat's story is a darker counterpart to the more widely known Christmas tales, presenting a cautionary message to both children and adults. Over time, the creature has transcended its original, more menacing role to become a symbol of Icelandic Christmas traditions, providing valuable insights into the country's culture, work ethic, and the social structures that have shaped its development. Origins of the Yule Cat myth. The myth of the Yule Cat dates back to at least the 19th century, and is deeply rooted in Icelandic history, particularly the nation's agricultural and rural traditions. It is likely that the tales of the Yule Cat evolved as a practical means to encourage people, especially children, to work hard during the long, harsh Icelandic winters. Iceland's history as a farming society was marked by difficult conditions, with long winters that more often made basic survival a challenge. New clothing was not only a practical necessity in a country with freezing temperatures and unpredictable weather, but it also symbolized the value of hard work, perseverance, and community responsibility. Those who worked diligently, especially in the wool industry, would be rewarded with the gift of new clothes. The Yule Cat in this context was a way of encouraging both children and adults to meet the social and moral expectations of hard work and to contribute to the well-being of their community. The Yule Cat's appearance. The physical description of the Yule Cat varies somewhat across different versions of the myth, but it is almost always depicted as a large, menacing, and supernatural creature. The cat is described as being much larger than a normal house cat, sometimes as big as a house or larger. In some accounts, it is said to be as tall as a mountain or capable of leaping vast distances with ease. Its fur is usually depicted as black or a very dark, often with a frosty or snowy texture, blending with the winter landscape of Iceland. What makes the Yule Cat particularly terrifying, aside from its size, is its glowing eyes. These eyes are often described as fierce and glowing a blood red or green color, which adds an eerie, supernatural element to the creature. The Yule Cat is said to move silently across the snow, its giant paws barely making a sound as it hunts for its prey. The image of the Yule Cat prowling through the snow on Christmas Eve creates a haunting image in Icelandic folklore. Some tellings of the Yule Cat also mention its enormous claws, capable of rendering its victims with frightening ease. In these versions, the Yule Cat is not only a figure of fear, but also a symbol of nature's raw, untamed power. The symbolism of the cat, in this case, is tied to the Icelandic landscapes itself. Rugged, unforgiving, and dangerous to those who fail to prepare or respect the natural world. The role of the Yule Cat in Icelandic Christmas traditions. The Yule Cat is an essential part of Icelandic Christmas folklore, and its role is very much tied to the traditions surrounding the holiday season. Unlike the more common and positive roles that gift bringers like Santa Claus or the Three Wise Men play in Western Christmas tradition, the Yule Cat is a figure that emphasizes fear and consequence. The tale of the new clothes. Perhaps the most well-known aspect of the Yule Cat myth is its predation on those who do not receive new clothes on Christmas. According to this tradition, anyone who has not been given or not gifted new clothes, especially those who are too poor or lazy to receive them, will be eaten by the Yule Cat. This tradition highlights the importance of hard work and social responsibility, reinforcing the value of contributing to the community, particularly through work that would lead to the production of wool and clothing. In the past, clothing was a symbol of not only personal success but also social responsibility. Icelandic society placed a strong emphasis on communal support, especially in rural areas. The production of wool, knitting, and weaving were common skills passed down through generations, and it was not unusual for families to gift each other hand-knit clothing, which was both practical and a sign of affection. The Yule Cat's role in the story served as a reminder to children in particular that they needed to work hard to be deserving of such gifts. Moral lessons and social control. Beyond the fear of being eaten by the Yule Cat, the myth also served a moral purpose, to encourage people to behave according to social norms. The Yule Cat's role was to uphold social justice in a somewhat harsh manner. It was a warning that those who did not contribute or help with the harvest, or who neglected their duties in the community, could face dire consequences. This may seem overly harsh by modern standards, but during the time when this myth originated, Icelandic society was harsh and the winters could be brutal. The Yule Cat might have served as an effective way to instill discipline in children, urging them to behave well and help their families during difficult times. The Yule Cat's connection to Gryla and the Yule lads. The Yule Cat is often associated with Jolas Vener, or the Yule lads. Again, if I mispronounce any of these, I am so sorry. I'm trying my best. A group of mischievous figures who each visit children during the 13 nights leading up to Christmas. The Yule lads, in their original forms, were not the kindly gift bringers we think of today, but instead pranksters who might play tricks on children. However, the Yule Cat is distinct from the Yule lads in that it has no mischievous or playful traits. It is simply a force of punishment and fear. The Yule Cat is also the companion of Gryla, a fearsome giant who is said to live in the mountains with her many children. Gryla is said to kidnap and eat misbehaving children during the Christmas season. In some versions of the myth, the Yule Cat works in tandem with Gryla, reinforcing the idea that children must be good or risk being devoured. The link between Gryla, the Yule lads, and the Yule Cat highlights the dark and cautionary nature of many Icelandic Christmas traditions, which often emphasized moral behavior and consequences. The cultural significance of the Yule Cat. Today, the Yule Cat's role in Iceland is somewhat less frightening than it once was, but it still holds significant cultural value. The creature is often seen as a symbol of Icelandic tradition, with its role evolving from a terrifying punishment bringer to a figure of local pride. As the myth of the Yule Cat has been passed down through generations, it has become a part of the broader narrative of Icelandic folklore, which is celebrated during the Christmas season. Icelandic Christmas customs are heavily influenced by folklore, and many families still celebrate traditional practices such as baking specific foods, singing carols, and storytellings. In these celebrations, the Yule Cat is often depicted in a lighter way, especially in children's books, holiday decorations, and even Christmas cards. In modern times, the Yule Cat has become a somewhat humorous figure, and the fear once associated with it has diminished. Modern interpretations and pop culture. The Yule Cat is also making its mark in global pop culture, especially in literature and art. One of the most famous representations of the Yule Cat is in the poem Yule Cat, written by the Icelandic poet Jóhannes Kotlum in 1932. In this poem, the Yule Cat is portrayed as a monstrous, terrifying figure that will punish the poor, reinforcing the cautionary lesson about work and generosity. The poem helped solidify the Yule Cat's place in Icelandic Christmas traditions and remains a popular part of the culture. Additionally, in recent years, the Yule Cat has appeared in various forms of pop culture, from children's books to animated TV shows and merchandise. While it is no longer seen as a literal threat to the public, the legend still captures the imagination of many, often being used to highlight Icelandic heritage in a more playful manner. The Yule Cat is even used in advertisements, often as a mascot for holiday promotions, particularly those emphasizing traditional Icelandic clothing such as woolen garments. The enduring legacy of the Yule Cat. The Yule Cat continues to be an integral part of Icelandic Christmas traditions, weaving together elements of folklore, social values, and cultural history. While its menacing role in folklore has softened in modern times, the Yule Cat remains a symbol of Iceland's agricultural past, its tight-knit communities, and the importance of contributing to society. The Yule Cat is not just a reminder of the consequences of laziness, but also a reflection of Iceland's harsh and beautiful landscape, where survival and success were historically tied to communal labor and hard work. As it has evolved, the Yule Cat now represents a mixture of fear, fun, and pride. It reminds Icelanders and those familiar with the legend of their cultural identity and heritage, while continuing to provide a curious glimpse into the darker cautionary aspects of Christmas traditions that have endured for centuries. That honestly, I knew very little about the Yule Cat, but just seeing how it's where it started to where it's come in modern society and why it was around, it makes I could see why they would do it. And it just, it makes me laugh to the fact that as a kid, at least over here, we always had the joke of as kids, oh, we got socks for Christmas, we were so disappointed. But then, when we became, adults, we got so excited about getting something so minuscule as socks. And then, you realize as you get older of how important those little things really and truly are. So, I guess if you find socks or new clothes under your Christmas tree this year, don't, look at that as a bad thing, because you might just be saving yourself a visit from the Yule Cat. But with that being said, everyone, please go check out our social medias. It is linked down below. Please follow the podcast. We are on all podcasting platforms. I'm doing good, guys. And I will see you guys in the next episode. All right. Bye, guys.